Hi and welcome back. Got a number of small fiddly jobs to do to complete the works in and around the fuel tank so I can finally put fuel in it. Once I've obviously committed to putting the fuel in it, that's the point of no return, no turning back. So I want to ensure that all my work behind the instrument panel, tidying up all of the any of the little tiny works that goes in there so it's all done, is all complete prior to filling that tank. I don't really want to be sort of emptying the tank if I've forgotten something and pulling it all apart so to get access. So now's the time to do it. So jobs for today are, there's a small grommet to go in the rear of the angle that fits behind the tank. So from the tank back to the instrument panel to stop the tank from sliding back into your, sitting in your lap. There's an angle to go in there, which goes this way, and there'll be a small grommet that I'll be putting in, a little 3/16 grommet, wiring grommet, just to allow the cables to come from the fuel level sender across the top of the tank in through this angle and back into the ECB. To do that, I've got to make up, I've got some stock material. I'm going to make up a couple of braces from the instrument panel. I'm not happy with where I put the mixture control, and we'll just have a quick look at that. Now when I say I'm not happy with where I put the mixture control, I don't mean it as such. I mean I'm not happy that where I've put it, we're now going to get this thing happening. It's going to put a lot of stress on the underside of the instrument panel itself. So I'm going to make up a couple of angled braces, if you will, that rivet to the underside of the instrument panel here and brace back to the top of the glare shield. So I made up a quick little template, so it's going to be cut similar to this. I'll then fold it over, make up a little shape similar to this, and mount it to the glare shield and rivet it off. For Gavin's benefit, which will just to go back on that, that'll give it some rigidity. That will then really keep that tight. Now although the mixture control is not the same as a throttle control, I don't have to tell you this, but we're not pushing it in and out all the time. It's, you know, very small movements, leaning at altitude and the like, leaning for shut off, engine shut off and the like. I just want to do that to feel better in myself. Now once the IEFIS displays are in, it does actually make it a lot stronger than this. It is a lot stronger, but you know, just to be on the of caution, I guess. Gavin mentioned that he didn't think he had the same clearance as what I did, and looking at his pictures that he sent me, he has the, I think it's Behringer or something brake system on his control stick, Behringer if I've said that correctly, which then elongates this distance here. I don't have that system. I'm relying on the Sonex kit brake system, and that's probably why, or the reason why, I do end up having more clearance than what he does. So anyway, that's that said, so let's move on with the next lot of stuff. Okay, what's next? I've got to mount a couple of GPS antennas for each of the IEFIS displays. Simple, just screw through the top, drill through the top of the glare shield. And now I'm not quite sure whether this has got a little self-adhesive backing on the top of the GPS. Do I simply mount that and rely on the self-adhesive just to hold it in position, or do I use this little nut on the underside of that? I'm going to elect to use the nut and tighten it down properly, and then just rely on the rubber grommet just to be held fast by the nut, I guess, rather than using the self-adhesive tape. So there's these two little guys to go in. I've got the fuel system. This is basically pretty much mirrored to what Sonex have shown us on the drawing. So from the top of from the underside of the fuel tank, through a bend, through the fuel flow, through a fuel shutoff, another angle, and then straight out through the firewall through another AN fitting. So by the time it mounts to the firewall, time it mounts to the underside of the tank, it's got some sort of rigidity. I was a little bit concerned about whether this was just going to be like a, you know, a flag in the wind or something like that. It was going to be fairly just relying on the thread up here, but you know, the couple of things I'll look at, whether it's adequate when this just goes through the firewall, or I've got a couple of holes. This, by the way, just goes back to the ECB. This or the RADAC, not sure. Anyway, we'll work it out. This has a couple of holes in the fuel flow sender. Maybe I could make up a small bracket on that. I don't know. We'll just do it. Suck it and see. This is the fuel shutoff, how I've got it. Brian Cotton has suggested I put a little, like a knob control on the instrument panel to save you from getting in and out of there and turning the fuel off. Probably something that I can probably retrofit later on, but I'm just gonna leave it out. Sorry about that, Brian. I'm not gonna follow that one. I'm gonna just keep this one as it is. I think I'm quite happy to reach down there and turn the fuel on and off. I mean, the planes I fly now, I've got one on the left to change tanks, and Cessnas have them down in the front here, and other airplanes. I mean, they're everywhere. So it's very important fuel, I guess. We need it. What else is left? Oh, and also finally, the compass. I've got to put a compass in the top. It's this backlit in case it has night VFR capabilities down track. Something that I'm not planning on the short term. Mount that as well. And then we also have to put in the fuel vent system. So I've marked it out on top of the glare shield over there. When we get around to installing this, you'll see I've just got a little bit of blue tape to follow the route as per Sonex. So how about I get on to doing some building and see how we end up after today. Hi and welcome back. Just go through a couple of items that I've done on my checklist for today. And I will just, before I get on to the last few remaining items on the checklist, and I'm just yelling a little bit because it's been on and off raining all day and it gets really noisy in the shed, so excuse me for the yelling if I'm being a bit overpowering. Compass is mounted on some 832 UNC threaded screws, and I've used the Allen key type head rather than the Phillips head, just for all of my visual exposed screws and the instrument IFS displays and also the V16 radio. Just to me, I think the Allen key looks a lot neater. I'm so glad I did, because the shape of this compass, like this, the actual foot that mounts the screws through to the top of the glare shield is inside that curve line, and it would have been too sort of hard on an angle to get a Phillips head screw in, hence the Allen key. I've cut it off here and it gets in and mounts beautifully. That rain stopped now, so I can stop yelling. I've mounted the 2 GPS antennas. I've mounted the angle with its grommet back in the aeroplane now, so the grommet's in, the cables have come through from the fuel level sender. I've made the 2 angles for the back of the instrument panel, and that's way better. And that's about it in that area that needs to be done. Fuel vent line is to be completed, and any of the fuel line itself coming from the tank out through the firewall is to be done. I'm just going to get this camera under here for a quick look, just to show you all these components under here. It's way squishy down here, but I'm getting a sore back doing this. But anyway, there's the 2 angle brackets that I made, going back to the underside of the instrument panel itself, and there's the fuel level sender cables coming out through the back of the grommet on the back of the fuel tank stop. The one GPS antenna is just there, and the other GPS antenna is just there. So when I sort of bring these cables down, I can tie up all of the extra cable length that I've got around those pieces. There's the hinge that I've made for the back of the ECB, which can drop down, all nice and clearance enough around these sorts of areas. Anyway, I think that's good. There's the underside of the tank, so I'll be working on this now, and I'll come back to you shortly. Hi, welcome back. Just a quick wrap up for work done this weekend. I have riveted off the glare shield, front of the instrument panel. Still got the two support angles that go onto the forward part of the spar upright, or long rod, I think they call it upright. Just clear coated at the moment, obviously because I need to take those out when I do the rigging for the wings. So that's just left off, but I'm happy with it. The one thing I will be changing is I will be going to a matte black. This one's a very low sheen, probably a satin more than anything, and I noticed when I was spraying it that there was a little bit of a reflection coming from the sun, so I don't know if you can see the sheen from the lights, but I think I'd much rather it matte black, so I went and got some matte black paint today, and I will be spraying it one more coat of matte. And how many more times can I say matte? I'll say it one more time, matte black. Anyway, that's it. I'll close this off now and post it through the week, and talk with you all soon.